Hey guys, got another knife review for you here. This is my tabletop review of the ESEE Junglas. And let me just say right off the bat here that I'm going to try to make this review as short as possible, but that's always hard. There's just a lot to cover with a knife. So, here we go. This is the ESEE Junglas, as you probably have gathered by now. And a really high quality knife, but also a pricey knife. And I guess we'll start with the packaging. It comes in just this plastic sleeve, a lot like any of the any of the other ESEE knives. That's just what they come in. Really, I don't have a problem with it as long as the knife's protected. So, it comes with these two little cards that you've probably seen in other ESEE knives. Ground to air signals on the back and everything else. Take them or leave them. I don't really care. They don't. I don't know. Whatever. It's not going to be a reason to buy the knife for me. And it comes with this sheet showing you different sheath options. I think you can actually download this or look at it on their website if you're interested in it. So here's the knife. I'll set the sheath off to the side for a minute, and I'll get to that later. But here's the knife, and this is a massive knife. This is, I may dare to say, this is the largest fixed blade I've ever reviewed. Opposed to a sword or something. This is huge. And they actually call it the Junglas machete. It's not really a machete because it, has a thicker blade than a machete would. But you could definitely use it in that same manner if you wanted to, I guess. The knife is made out of 1095 steel, which is really awesome steel. I've had lots of great experience with it in the outdoors. And I'm really basing all my observations about this on the quality and how it would perform and everything else from my observations with the SA6. This is my knife, and I've used it a lot. This knife is actually not mine. This is on loan from a buddy of mine, and he was nice enough to let me review it. But so I'm not actually going to, I'm not even going to cut paper with this knife just because it's not mine. But, I feel I can give a pretty accurate representation of how it would perform and overall of this from my experiences with the SA6. So the steel in here is excellent, very strong steel, very shock resistant. You can really chop and do a lot of heavy work with this, and it's not going to, crack on you. It shouldn't chip out on you on the edge. Really awesome steel. The only downfall, obviously, is that it will rust because it is a high carbon steel. It is not a stainless steel. So that's something you'll have to watch. So if you're going in a high moisture environment, this may not be the option for you. However, ESEE has kind of worked to combat that problem with this really high quality kind of crinkle coat baked on finish. Really nice finish. And it's the same exact finish that's on the SA6. It's on the Azula, on pretty much all the knives that I know of. And this is how it's worn on my SA6 after a lot of work. It does come back at the edge a little. That's from batoning through wood. But it's been far more durable than any other coating I've ever seen on a knife. It's more durable than paint, more durable than like a Teflon coating, like maybe some of the cold steel knives. In my experience, it's more durable than titanium nitride. So it's going to really protect that high carbon steel very well against rust. Now, this blade is 3/16 of an inch thick, which for a survival knife is pretty ideal in my mind. Obviously, I do like very thick blades because they split wood really well. However, they're heavy. For example, the Cold Steel Recon Scout, I still really like this knife. I love it. And it has that 5/16 inch thick blade. I'll give you a quick comparison there. So this is very thick, and it splits and chops very well, but it's also very heavy. So if you're gonna carry this around, if you maybe backpack or hike with this, or a soldier, you have to take that weight into consideration. I know some people don't care, but you get a lot of gear that's heavy, and it really adds up, and you end up working really hard just to get your gear around. Strong enough, splits well, performs very well, but not too much to be, overweight. Now, this knife does come razor sharp out of the box. Very impressed with this. You could probably shave your face with this. It's so sharp. Very sharp. Now the grind on here is almost a full flat grind. You see there, they did maintain a little bit of thickness there, and I actually really like that. I like it when manufacturers just keep a little bit of thickness at the top there, because I feel that it adds a lot of strength while still not really sacrificing much on the edge. So you probably, if you see anywhere in this, it'll probably be down on the edge like there on the ESEE you saw, and maybe at this transition right here. And the blade, by the way, if you haven't gathered, is just over 10 inches. So very large blade. Now I really like how they laser etched in all these markings that they put on here. Their logo right there, very nice looking logo. Junglas. And I liked they laser etched it all in because in some knives like the K-Bar, like some of the first generation Ontario Spec Plus knives, on a lot of knives where they stamp it into the metal, that can actually cause cracking, and that's not good at all. And you know, I broke 2 K-Bars in a row because of that. Well, possibly because of that. Also, maybe because of a thin tang. Made in the USA, so that will add cost to this design. You know, that's just the way things are in our world right now. But you know, gotta love U.S. manufacturing. And under this little piece of a sticky note is the serial number. Now I know that serial numbers on knives aren't like serial numbers on guns, where you know anyone can really do anything with it, or it's gonna hurt you to put it on the internet. But it's not my knife, so I'll just as well not put it on the internet. As you see there, this is my SA6 251. So really, you know, I love when companies serialize their knives, because it really just makes them more special, makes them a little bit more collectible, and adds kind of an identity to each separate knife. And you know, with the attention to detail and the price on this knife, it kind of flexes into maybe like the semi-custom world. Maybe like Swamp Rat, Busey, yeah, probably not quite to the level of Busey or Bussy, whatever you want to call it. But you know, it's a little bit more than just a knife that just rolls off the assembly line and is, you know, just completely mass-produced. And you know, you will have to maybe worry about rust on those laser etchings, but I haven't found that to be a problem with any of my knives that have been laser etched. And by the way, this serial number, if you're wondering, is under 1,000. So that's pretty cool. Now the handles on here are made out of sand-colored micarta. Really nice coloration there. Really beautiful. However, one thing I will say is from my SA6, I know that they've darkened up over time and use. Probably from the oil in my hand, from dirt, you know, just stuff. It kind of, the micarta almost soaks it up just a little bit, and it has darkened up a bit. So I would expect that if you use this sand-colored micarta out a lot, that eventually you will get this kind of darkening up into more of a brown. Now it is kind of an open weave of a micarta. Hope you can get. I hope this camera's high def enough to pick this up. This is kind of an open weave, and it has almost a tiger striping of kind of black in there, which is really pretty. Really beautiful grips on here. They're held on by some pretty large Allen wrench, or Allen, the hexagonal. They're not Torx bits, which I really like, because I feel that attachment method is just a little bit more standard. You know, it's something that you can really find in just the average Joe's garage. Whereas Torx bits are a little bit more specialty kind of a tool that not as many people will have. Now these grips, these micarta slabs, are custom fit to each individual knife. So that, you know, again adds to the kind of a semi-custom feel and look of this knife, and it is matched very well. There's seamless throughout, very smooth, very well done. It is a very large grip, as you can tell. I have smaller hands. But, you know, even if you had large hands, it'd still be very comfortable in your hand. So, really excellent done on there. And, by the way, guys, ESEE has a really nice website. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Have lots of pictures of their knives being used, and that's really cool when manufacturers do that. And they also have a destruction test of this knife where they put this part in a vise and put a pipe on this end and bend it until it breaks, and it actually takes about a 90-degree angle before it finally snaps. So this is a very tough knife, I can definitely tell you that. And you know, if you've seen, I forget what video it is, but Nut and Fancy has an RTAC 2, which is essentially this knife made by Ontario. I know there's some changes to it. I'll get somebody weighing in the comments saying it's not the same knife. I know, but there's some changes. But you know, it's pretty comparable. And that knife was batoned through a frozen log, solid frozen through. Took probably a 15-degree bend, about like that. And when it came out, it just returned true, and that's pretty amazing. So I think these are definitely some tough knives.